So Jonathan Majors is on trial. If you don't know who Jonathan Majors is, he is Kang in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was also in Lovecraft Country, a show I haven't seen. He's a very well-regarded actor, at least in terms of his ability. People have praised a lot of his work, and Marvel felt so confident with his performances that they decided he was going to be the new Thanos for the MCU. But then, about a year ago, he was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend. And he lost his agency after that. And Marvel has been kind of quiet on what they want to do. I think they're playing the wait and see game, whether they, if he gets acquitted on this trial or not before they continue with plans. But the trial is now ongoing after multiple delays, after they have tried to get it dismissed. And we've got an article from USA Today that I wanted to go over because it's got some of Grace Jabari's testimony, who is Jonathan Majors' ex. Let's see what she has to say and how things went. Axel T says, will Kang get recast? We'll find out. We'll see. I think if Jonathan Majors is in prison, then they will have to recast him because they're not going to wait years to continue the MCU in his absence. But yeah, Jonathan Majors' ex Grace Jabari testifies on actor's violent temper. I was just heartbroken. Jonathan Majors' ex-girlfriend is testifying in court about her turbulent relationship with the actor in the months leading up to his domestic violence arrest. Grace Jabari, a British dancer and movement coach, first took to the stand Tuesday on the second day of Majors' trial for hours of tearful testimony against her former boyfriend. Majors faces 5 misdemeanor charges following his March arrest for the alleged assault of Jabari, including 3 for assault and 2 for harassment. In her testimony Tuesday, Jabari described Majors as a controlling, manipulative partner who hurled household objects at the wall, tried to control her socially, and repeatedly threatened to take his own life in the aftermath of their fights. It felt like I was walking around on eggshells, Jabari said. I had to be perfect. Majors avoided eye contact with Jabari during the morning testimony, instead scribbling notes to his lawyer or thumbing through his gold-leafed Bible as she recounted his struggle to contain his violent temper. Before his arrest, Majors was a rising star in Hollywood. The actor was set to anchor the next phase of the MCU with his portrayal of the comic book supervillain Kang the Conqueror. He also starred in the Sundance award-winning drama magazine Dreams, which was pulled from its original December release. Jabari alleged that Majors first became full of rage and aggression during the filming of magazine Dreams in July 2022. She said Majors, who was struggling with a strict dieting regimen and grueling training schedule for his bodybuilder character, threw objects during an argument in their West Hollywood home. Photos shared with the jury show the inside of the house where the walls were dented by candlesticks and bits of broken glass littered the floor. Now, again, the photo evidence, I don't know if we're gonna get to see that, or if it's just going to be court reporters who return all that with us. I mean, obviously there are photographs from outside the trial. I don't know if there's actually any cameras allowed inside. Oftentimes they don't allow that, so the most we would get is courtroom sketches and stuff. Majors' ex also claims the Creed 3 actor lost his temper while filming in England a few months later after Jabari came home from a bar tipsy with a friend. In a recording played for the court, Majors can be heard berating Jabari for straying from the plan, explaining that she should model her behavior after the supportive partners of other famous men like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. I'm a great man, Majors said. There needs to be a great woman who makes sacrifices. That's psychotic. And this is from a recording. This isn't just her testimony. This is like an actual recording of him going on around like that. Who the fuck says I'm a great man? I've actually got, there was a little bit of the testimony that isn't quoted in this article, but was quoted over here in Business Insider, and specifically about that. Yeah, so he raised his voice and shouted at me, how dare I go out, calling me an alcoholic, saying that I'm an embarrassment, she testified, saying when he's busy, I should just be waiting at home and keep things nice for him. I should not go out with friends. And that sounds like a recording here corroborates that kind of controlling behavior. Jabari said Majors threatened suicide on several occasions, begging her not to tell anyone about his outbursts. She said she feared him physically quite a lot, though she did not disclose any instances of domestic violence before the March 25th assault in her testimony, which isn't necessarily surprising. A lot of times, domestic abuse victims will keep quiet because they fear what happens. They don't want their partner to get arrested, or they fear what happens if the partner does get arrested. He said he was a monster, Jabari said. He wanted to kill himself, and he put actions in place to do so. In her second day on the witness stand Wednesday, Jabari wiped away tears as she recounted the alleged attack by Majors in the backseat of a cab that left her hair caked with blood, her ear swollen, and middle finger more or less black. When I was trying to sleep, I was very aware that I couldn't lie on the right side of my head, she said. It was an everything hurts situation. Jabari documented her bruised finger and reddened ear in text messages she sent to a friend, which were presented in the courtroom. Majors sat stoically throughout the proceeding, looking at Jabari at times, but appeared to avert his gaze from the photos. This is Grace Jabari here. In her cross-examination, Major's attorney Priya Chaudhry sought to paint Jabari as a bitter lover who used alcohol to cope with stress, suggesting that she may have blacked out key details about the night of the alleged assault. In response to the attorney's questioning, Jabari said she had several drinks with Majors before the dispute. She also acknowledged entering a nightclub following the assault after being invited by a group of bystanders, as well as taking shots of tequila with the strangers before eventually going home and vomiting in the bathroom. She called Majors several times before falling asleep. I was exhausted, lying on the bed, feeling the pain in my body, but really desperate to speak to him, Jabari said. It's confusing when the person you love betrays you in that way. I was just heartbroken. Why were Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabari arrested? Majors' March arrest came after officers responded to a 911 call from a Manhattan apartment where a woman told them she was assaulted by him. The victim sustained minor injuries to her head and neck and was removed to an area hospital in stable condition, according to the NYPD. A judge on March 25th granted a limited order of protection, preventing Majors and the woman from assaulting or harassing each other, and released Majors on his own recognizance. Right, Jonathan Majors is not a flight risk. He's a movie star. If he tries to flee, it's going to be noticed. In October, Jabari was charged with suspicion of misdemeanor assault and misdemeanor criminal mischief, according to the New York Times and the Hollywood Reporter. She was released soon after on a desk appearance ticket, which is a notice to appear in court at a later date. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office declines to prosecute Jabari's case due to a lack of prosecutorial merit, the DA's office said in a statement to USA Today. It is unfortunate and re-traumatizing when a survivor of intimate partner violence is forced to endure an arrest, Jabari's attorney told USA Today at the time, but Miss Jabari is an extremely strong and resilient person who is determined to move forward. Okay, does this article actually go into the details of, okay, look, yeah, it does. Okay, yeah, okay, which is good because I wanted to get into this. Grace Jabari was also arrested and charged with domestic assault, but then the charges were dropped. And there is a case in domestic violence and in abusive situations where there is reciprocal violence, where there is mutual abuse going on. I think we saw a lot of that discourse with the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff. I didn't pay close attention to that case because I didn't really care too much, and it seemed like everybody who did care was kind of an awful person. But considering that I've been an MCU fanboy for a very long time, and Jonathan Majors is being set up as the new big villain for the MCU, it's important. I'm invested in the outcome of this trial, and from everything that I have seen so far, I mean, there was Jonathan Majors' attorney, Chaudhry, she had released text messages between Majors and Jabari that she said, oh, it totally exonerates them because it was actually, let me see if I can find them. This is from Jabari. They just called again to check on me, and I reiterated how this was not an attack and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. I read the paper they gave me about strangulation, and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be told this. She ensured this to me. I know you have the best team and there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out, and your worry as my partner due to our communication prior out of care. She promised all will be relayed. Okay, this isn't, there's more to it. All right, here we are. I knew there was more. I just found. Here's the one. So this part was the previous one. But yeah, she says, please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. I'm so angry that they did, and I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. That right there. When this text was released by Jonathan Majors' attorney, everyone was like, oh, he did it. This is total battered wife syndrome here. And now that we're back at this article, should go into the details. On Monday, the opening statements in the trial against Majors centered on whether the actor assaulted Jabari after she snatched his phone while they were in the backseat of a car to read a romantic text message sent by another woman. Prosecutors said Majors grabbed the woman's hand so hard he fractured her middle finger, then twisted her arm behind her back and struck her on the side of the head, the latest outburst in an alleged pattern of physical and emotional abuse. An attorney for Majors argued that her client was the true victim, claiming he was left bloodied by the attack, while Jabari spent the rest of the night clubbing. Attorneys for Majors have said that Jabari was the aggressor in the situation. One of his defense attorneys, Chaudhry, described Jabari as a spurned lover who was seeking to ruin Jonathan Majors and take away everything he has spent his whole life working for. Okay, and that's the article. This does not look good for Jonathan Majors at all. Even the arguments that his lawyers are making just makes him sound very guilty, very abusive. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this court case ends up, but this sounds pretty disgusting. And I am sure that Marvel is just waiting for the verdict before they make a decision, but they do need to recast. This guy sounds like a really abusive person. There have been people who said that, like, when they were working with him in New York before he went to Hollywood, that basically everybody knew that he was kind of like a violent and abusive person. So, like, there have been stories going around about him before this assault even happened. But I am also cognizant of the fact that he is a black man in America, and accusations like that have been falsely levied at people. There is a racial dynamic to this, that there's a white woman accusing a black man of this, but there's also corroborating evidence with the megalomaniacal rant that he was going on that she had a recording of. She was hospitalized for the assault that he did on her. This looks bad. You don't think the MCU will ever get him back? Probably not. Honestly, I've liked a lot of what I have seen of him, but the latest season of Loki, his performance as Victor Timely in season 2 of Loki was actually pretty bad. He's doing the thing where, because he's playing different versions of the same character, that he has to find a new way, a way to get the performance to be a little bit more unique. But a really talented actor should be able to do that without getting into caricature so quickly. But the way he was playing Victor Timely as a guy who stutters, he's not doing like a proper stutter. He was doing this very exaggerated dramatic pause that felt more suited to like stage acting than film acting. So even just in terms of talent, once I saw that, I was just like, oh, I don't necessarily know how well he's going to be able to pull off multiple variants of Kang going forward. I did like his performance as He Who Remains. I saw Quantumania once, and honestly, that whole movie was forgettable. Kang, I seem to remember thinking he was fine in it, but yeah, I don't think at this point that it's worth even keeping him around. Like I said, Loki's already established that variants can have a different actor playing them. There have been multiple Loki variants played by other actors that we've already seen, so you could just recast him and just be like, oh yeah, these are new Kang variants. It's fine. The video that you just saw, I recorded a couple days ago, but since I recorded that, there has been an update to the Jonathan Majors trial, and I wanted to go ahead and record this segment to get that into that video, which should be coming out soon. Some texts which the prosecutors had been trying to get submitted into evidence from an incident that happened in London from last year. They were finally allowed in, and they don't look good at all. Jonathan Majors appears to admit physically attacking ex Grace Jabari in text messages entered into evidence. The text messages regarding an earlier incident were previously deemed inadmissible at trial. In text messages between Jonathan Majors and accuser Grace Jabari, the Marvel actor appears to admit to physical violence against his now ex 6 months before Majors was arrested in March and charged with assault in a separate domestic violence case. I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital, Majors 34 texted Jabari 30 in September 2022. They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation even if you do lie and they suspect something. Wow. In that message, Majors also stated it's just fake, but based on the messages put into evidence, it was not clear what he was calling fake, and no context was provided in court. In the text messages, displayed to the jury and read into the record by Jabari on her fourth and final day on the stand on Friday, Jabari appears to assure Majors that she would not blame him for allegedly causing an injury to her head. I will tell the doctor I bumped my head, Jabari cried as she read aloud the messages in court. Oh, this is a kill shot. Then, unable to continue through her tears, Assistant District Attorney Kelly Galloway took over. I will tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you? Oh my god. That's it. Like, they have the text messages. They're just reading out the text messages. These are from a year ago. Oh, that's damning. This has been going on a while. Like, again, he was arrested for assaulting her in March in New York. These texts are from September 2022 in London, a separate incident. Now, he's not on trial for that separate incident, but this demonstrates a pattern of behavior, a pattern of abuse. This is a kill shot right here. I can understand why his lawyers were fighting very hard to make sure that this didn't get admitted into evidence, because holy shit. The text messages, which were previously mentioned by prosecutors in a 115-page pretrial filing in October, are considered Molyneux evidence, which the New York State Unified Court System defines as conduct that is inextricably interwoven with the charged acts and which may provide necessary background information or explanation to the charged acts. In that filing, prosecutors mentioned medical records from London related to an incident that occurred in September of 2022. That earlier incident of alleged abuse had previously been ruled inadmissible, but in a series of cross-examination questions which presiding judge Michael Gaffey had said lacked specificity, the defense opened the door to prosecutors being able to share with the jury text messages regarding that prior incident, the judge told lawyers Friday morning. On cross-examination earlier this week, Priya Chaudhry, one of Major's defense lawyers, had grilled Jabari about why the morning after the alleged March 2023 incident, the woman had told emergency personnel that she did not remember how she had become injured. Ooh. Oh, and then we have the, oh, okay. Gaffey said Friday morning that Chaudhry had asked the questions in an effort to impugn Jabari's credibility, even though they knew there might be another reason she was not forthcoming. In those September 2022 text messages, Majors had responded to Jabari threatening suicide if his then girlfriend went to the hospital for her injured head. Last night, I considered killing myself versus coming home, Majors wrote to Jabari, adding, I need love too. Or maybe I'm such a monster and horrible man, I don't deserve it, and I should just kill myself. In this way, my existence is miserable, I want to die. This is abusive language. This is an abuser right here. This has been going on for months. Jabari, who in court was turned in the direction of the projected text messages, had responded, I will not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so or don't trust me to. I promise you I would never mention you, but understand your fear. Telling her that she could not reject his love and admonishing her for not hugging him after the alleged fight, Majors noted by text, I will probably kill myself, it's not really contemplating anymore. He added, I'm a monster, a horrible man, not capable of love, I'm killing myself soon. Jonathan, you can't say this, I'm going to have to tell someone, Jabari responded by text, noting her perceived error in not hugging him. Oh man, this is damning. Yeah, Trans Girl Jade, I mean, he got one thing right, he is a monster, 100%. Yeah, Marvel, it's time to fire him. He's not winning this. He's not winning this case. Even if he does, by some miracle, get like a hung jury or something like that, he can't continue on. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific and Sundays at 2 p.m., so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone friend tier patron Pistol Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.